know. I don't know if I'm like too sensitive, but I remember going like not even saying goodbye. Like, hi everyone, I hope you're doing great. We're so close to the holidays and it's an amazing time of the year. And today I wanted to do a video of games that are great to play on the two-player account. Most of them are made for two players, just two of them are made for 2 to 4 players, but I can imagine playing them on the 4-player account. For me, they have always been for 2 players, so I love them. I hope you like the video, and remember, if you like board games and if you like to see more content about it, remember to subscribe. First of all, I'm Elena, best known as Geek and Pink, the girl with the half face on Instagram, and today the video is not gonna be like the last videos, like from lighter to heavier. It's going to be like, I'm gonna talk about my favorite two-player games. It's maybe 10 or 11 games that I love, and I hope you like them. My first game is one that I think that it's not so well known, but I watched a video on Before You Play. If you don't know them, you have to go to the YouTube account and watch them. They are called Before You Play. They are a couple. They explain games and they play the games, and it's awesome because you get to see how to play the game, and after that, if you have a gap on the rules, you can watch how they play the game, and it's amazing. I highly recommend you to follow them. And this is called Compromat. This game, it's called kind of 21 because you're going to have cards like with numbers, and there are going to be like rewards, 4 of them, in front of the both players. And each turn you can put one card in whatever row you want to put. The first is going to be open, and then the next ones are going to be closed. So maybe at one point you get more than 21 on that card, but the other person is not going to know. So it's kind of 21, and it's amazing, Compromat. This next game, it was one of the first, but not the first game. But I have it in my heart because I play this a lot. I used to play this before going to bed, and I used to get mad because in this game you're like totally going against the other player, trying to kill the other player to win. So you're like throwing orcs and things, so the life of the other player goes down, and it's like, I don't know if I'm like too sensitive, but I remember going like not even saying goodbye, like. And this is called Heroes. This is one of the ones that I told you it's for 2 to 4 players, but I can imagine someone playing it with more than 2 players because it's like you're attacking the other player. If you have someone else, maybe you're attacking the other player and the other player is attacking. It has to be like some kind of order. And you're going to be buying cards so you can attack the other player, so you can have money, and you're like buying the cards and then put them on your discard, and then hopefully you get them fast so you can attack the other player. And it's a great game that I really enjoy playing. Hero Realms. The next game, it kind of reminds me of chess, but it's nothing like chess because this is so much easier, but it makes you think a lot. This is Onitama, and in this game we're going to have this mat that is going to have red pawns here and blue pawns here, and you're trying to get your big pawn into the opponent's like place, or trying to eat the other player's big opponent, and the first to do one of those things is going to win. But you're gonna have like cards that will allow you to move. You're going to count as the black square, and you can move to the red squares. Have this card and you're like supposed to be here. You can move backwards, you can move to this space or to this space. And it's kind of like that, but you're like thinking, because whenever you use a card, you have to put the card in front of you, and the other person is going to take it in the next turn. So he's going to be able to use it, and you're thinking, if I use that card, maybe he's going to eat my big pawn, so I need to think good what my next move is going to be. And it's like a great game, Onitama. And it takes only like 15 minutes, which is awesome. The next game I played it more recently and I fell in love with it. This is called Odin's Raven. And in this game, we're going to have a path that we need to cross, going from one direction and then coming back from that direction. And the first to do so, it's going to win. The the path is going to be kind of like this, but obviously with a lot of cards. You have to cross all of them. And you can have in your turn, you can take two cards. You can use the number of cards that you want to use, but you can only take two. And there's a lucky deck and a regular deck that will help you cross the path. But each turn you can decide, like maybe you want to use this card, so you can move the path and actually cross this with only one card instead of doing two movements and throwing two cards, like one kind of brown and then one purple. And in the game, you're going to be thinking, if I take a lucky card, maybe I get lucky and get some card that I can use, but I need also like color cards so I can cross the path. And it's a great game, Audience Raven. One of the only games that I have played that has an artwork like this. This is called Heaven. And in this game, we're going to be playing as the city or the forest, and we're going to be moving around the board, trying to conquer. And it's an amazing game with a great artwork, and I just love so much playing it. It's called Heaven. On the next game, you need a lot of luck because you're like taking cards, but you need them to have the color that you need. This board, and you're like kind of betting on the type of cards. Like maybe in your hand you have like a good amount of whites that you think maybe this is going to be enough to win the other player. But if you start betting on a column and the other player wins over you, you lose points, like a lot of points. So you have to be certain before you start betting on a column. And but you have to be very lucky because maybe you have this at the beginning, but then the other player is starting to take cards and they have more whites than you, and you're like, oh my god, I need those whites. And it's an amazing game. Lost Cities, so funny because it's a total confrontation with the other person. It's called Aqualin, and in this game we're going to have this board and we're going to use this cute tiles like with fish like this. And in your turn, you can actually move one of the pieces that it's already there and you can place a piece. So maybe you can take this piece and move it here and then put the piece that you want, because you're trying, well, one person is trying to have more animals together and the other person is trying to have colors. So you're like searching to have the most amount of colors or animals together so you can multiply them and earn points. At some point maybe the other person it has like all the animals together and you can move a piece and the animals are no longer together and they cannot multiply, and it's like it's an amazing game. Aqualin. Who doesn't love Seven Wonders? Did you know that there's a version for two players? Seven Wonders Dwell. In this game, you're trying to build a civilization, kind of like in Seven Wonders, but just for two people. And you will have cards, you can like have resources, and then of course trade those resources for points at the end. And you can build an army, or you want to like have more resources so you can have more points at the end. And I don't know, it has so many things, and I just love like this kind of games where you're like taking cards and putting them on your in front of you and having resources and an army and you're fighting the other person, and it's a great one. If you've tried and loved Cryptid, but you know that Cryptid is not for two player, there's a version for two players that it's called Cryptid Urban Legends. And in this game, it's going to be like the normal Cryptid where you're trying to find the monster. One person is going to be the monster and the other person is trying to find the monster. And If you like scripted and you like a version of with for 2 players, this is it. Scripted Urban Legends. This last game has win over my heart. It doesn't have a lot of elements, but it has enough to be a great game. This is called Paris. And well, the box, it's the board, and on the board at the beginning of there's going to be like 2 faces, and on the first face we're going to put those squares on the like the board, but we're going to be thinking because on the next phase we're going to be putting like Tetris shapes on the board, and you have to have good, well, these pieces like in a correct way so you can put your Tetris pieces on them. I don't know, it has so many things, and it's just an amazing game. It's called Paris. Thank you so much for watching. Those were my 10 favorite games that I have played so far. I haven't played Targi, and I don't know if you want to give away to your partner an amazing game. Those 10 were, well, for me, are amazing. And or if you like to play with your partner and you're looking for new games, all of them are great. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe and see you next time.